Today we are going to be talking about adding and subtracting fractions. Adding or subtracting fractions can get a bit tricky, but it always comes down to this. Adding or subtracting fractions can be done when the denominator or the bottom of the fractions are the same. So, for an easy example, we'll look at 2/5 plus 1/5. In this case, the denominators are both 5, so we can add 2 plus 1 to get 3 in the numerator, and then we keep that 5 in the denominator. The same works for subtraction. If we have 4/7 minus 5/7, we subtract 4 minus 5 to get -1 in the numerator, and we keep 7 as the denominator. So now that we know that we can add or subtract fractions when they have a common denominator, what do we do if they don't have a common denominator? For example, how would we find 2/5 plus 5/7? Well, to solve this, there are two general things we need to know. The first is that any number times 1 is equal to itself. The second is that any number divided by itself is equal to 1. For example, 4 divided by 4 is 1, and so is 3 divided by 3, and so on. Now let's return to our problem, 2/5 plus 5/7. We know that we need those two fractions to have a common denominator in order to add them. So what I'm going to do is multiply them by 1. This way, I haven't changed the problem since any number times 1 is equal to itself. This doesn't seem useful, but what we can do is rewrite the first one as 7/7 and the second one as 5/5. I can do this because of our second rule that any number divided by itself is equal to 1. Now I can multiply the first fraction by 7/7 to get 14 over 35, and the second fraction by 5/5 to get 25 over 35. Now we see that both of our fractions have a common denominator, and we can add 14 plus 25 to get 39 over 35. Let's do another example with subtraction. Now remember, addition and subtraction with fractions work exactly the same way. So let's do 7/8 minus 3/4. So we want our fractions to have a common denominator. In this case, I can recognize that 4 times 2 is 8. So if I can find a way to get 8 as my common denominator, that would make my work a lot easier. To do this, I know that I can multiply 3/4 by 1 and not change the problem, since 3/4 times 1 is still 3/4. I can then rewrite the 1 as 2 over 2. Now, if I multiply, I get 7/8 minus 6/8. Since both fractions share a common denominator, I can subtract 7 minus 6 to get 1/8. And that's going to cover adding and subtracting fractions. If you found this video helpful, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe for more helpful videos like this. Also leave a comment with any questions you may have or topics you want me to cover in the future. Thanks for watching.